You have a statement, no more other comments, okay? Thank you. Have a nice day.
We got some other questions for you, though.
He determines how millions of tax dollars get spent, but an 8 News investigation raises serious questions about whether a local politician has violated state law with how he discloses his own finances.
AJ Legault has a story that has citizens demanding answers.
In Brunswick County, Virginia, the claim to fame is stew, and in local politics, few stir the pot like Welton Tyler. His hand is on every tax dollar spent in Brunswick.
Yes, he was the chair of the board last year, and he's the vice chair this year, so he has a lot of clout.
Tyler's John Hancock is on this 2014 Statement of Economic Interest. He signs, swearing the information he's provided is full, true, and correct. But when 8 News, along with citizen watchdogs from Better Brunswick Government, looked into Welton Tyler's legally mandated disclosure statements for the past several years, we found they all fall well short of full, true, and correct.
I wonder what is the reason for hiding those.
What seemed to be hidden or missing on Tyler's disclosure statements are numerous pieces of real estate. We knocked on doors to verify what property records show.
Mr. Tyler.
Welton Tyler owns it?
Yeah.
That Welton Tyler owns this home at 5808 Belfield Road. He also owns this house at 7064 Belfield Road. And then there's this house that Shantae Edmonds and her family call home.
I moved in 2007.
On Tyler's 2013 and 2014 disclosure forms, no mention of either of the Belfield Road homes we just showed you, and Ms. Edmonds' address,
22164 Governor Harrison Parkway,
is also not listed.
Who owns it?
Welton Tyler.
You pay Welton Tyler rent?
Yes. $650 a month.
So they need to be accurate.
U of R law professor Hank Chambers tells us under Virginia code, if you're elected to public office, be it the governor or a local board member, you're required to fill out a disclosure statement each year.
The point to having the form is to make sure that we can make a determination as to whether or not the folks are carrying out their responsibilities consistent with the public's interest or possibly consistent with only their own interest.
While we were out researching for this story, filming the numerous properties Welton Tyler owns, this one bizarrely marked by a cross in the front yard with his name on it, Welton's brother and real estate partner Rufus Tyler pulled up wanting to know what we were doing.
So I'm going around just taking a look and seeing if they're, what's what.
We told him. That was on April 9th. First thing the next morning, Welton Tyler sent this letter to the county administrator. It says upon review of his 2014 real estate holdings form, he discovered several properties were erroneously omitted. He also revised his form disclosing 6 additional properties. We requested an interview with Tyler, instead received a statement in which he writes he'd inadvertently left some information off and does not see any value in making further comment.
He does not want to make any further comment, but we've got plenty of further questions as our check of real estate records shows Vice Chairman Tyler is still not disclosing all of his property. Can I stop and talk with you for a second?
We walked up to Tyler.
We want to talk with you about your disclosure statements.
Outside a Board of Supervisors meeting.
Is everything on there accurate now?
Everything's accurate.
Completely.
Best of my knowledge.
We looked at it, and there's still some issues on there. I mean, all your properties aren't listed.
Yeah, they're listed.
Every one of them.
Knowledge, yes, best of my knowledge, yes, sir.
But on Tyler's amended form, there's still no mention of Shantae Edmonds' home.
He knows he owns this house then?
As far as I know, he comes here every month.
And gets rent?
Yes.
There's also no mention of this house at 22242 Governor Harrison Parkway. Before we can ask Tyler about any specifics, he decides he's done talking.
You have a statement, no more other comments, okay? Thank you. Have a nice day.
We got some other questions for you, though.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
You're not willing to talk with us about it?
This is not the first time Tyler's refused to answer our questions. In 2012, he waved us off when we were investigating Brunswick's illegal lawn mowing contract.
It raises
have a good night, man.
It raises the issue of political favoritism.
Tyler was listed as a reference for a contractor who he voted to award the job to, despite it being the highest bid.
He's not going to tell the truth on the economic interest statements. I've got to question his judgment on other things that he might approve or disapprove.
Citizens here are now vowing if they don't get answers,
It's right here, they have to answer to the public.
come election time, winds of change will blow in Brunswick.
You expect better?
I demand better.
Tyler recently filed yet another amended disclosure statement. Still not completely accurate, but it does finally disclose the properties we showed you, including the home that Miss Edmonds lives in.
All right, AJ, this all sounds kind of vaguely similar to what's happening with Governor McDonnell, who's under fire and actually facing federal corruption charges for not disclosing gifts that he received and things that he had.
Yeah, it certainly is very similar. Now, McDonnell failed to disclose gifts on his financial forms. Mr. Tyler has not been disclosing property, but it's the same set of forms that all elected officials are required to fill out. Now, Governor McDonnell certainly had some other issues, which is why it went to the feds.
So this begs the question then, what's the penalty for all this, for not properly disclosing this?
It is a Class 1 misdemeanor that can result in up to a year in jail and a very hefty fine, but it has to be proven that the omissions were made knowingly and are not just sloppy mistakes. And if you heard Mr. Tyler repeatedly tell me the form was accurate to the best of his knowledge, so that's obviously his defense. But I can tell you that law enforcement has contacted me saying they've been made aware of this situation and are now looking into it.
All right, thank you, AJ.